Hi, this is going to be the first video in a series that I'm going to create where I'm demonstrating how I rebuild a website that was originally built with the Elementor page builder. It's now being converted to the Oxygen page builder. So let's just jump right into it. And over here, this is the original site here. It's called Casa de Madera. It is it's a company based in Colombia, South America. It's a husband and wife, architect and builder, and they build houses in wood, custom houses for their clients of wood. And it's a little unusual in Colombia because most of the houses down here are built with brick and stone. All right, so this is the original site in Elementor, and that's it. So what I did is I created a clone of the site, and I'm going to be working there. And once it's done, I'll be moving it over. It's hosted on Cloudways, and I didn't create a subdomain or anything like that. I'm just using the generic Cloudways URL that they create for you, and I have deactivated Elementor, Elementor Pro, and it was also using the Generate Press theme. So I deactivated it. When you build with Oxygen, it deactivates the theme, so you don't have access to your theme anymore anyway. But I did have GP Generate Press Premium. I added a couple of plugins to support Oxygen, Oxy Extras, and Hydrogen Pack, as well as Swiss Knife, and also I am using something called Automatic CSS, which is a CSS utility framework. And what this is going to do for me is just speed up the building process. It's also going to ensure that everything across the site is consistent, sizing and spacing and color. It's using variables so that once you set up your palette, once you set up your sizing, your text sizing, your spacing, padding, margin, all of those things, and it all comes already preset by default. There's just a few things you got to do in there to get started, but I'll walk you through it real quick. And it really is a game changer for me. Just the consistency aspect of this thing, and also if any changes in the future, you change it in one location, and that's it. It's consistent across the entire site. So all right, so let's just jump right into it. So first thing we're gonna have to do. Let me move this over here for a second and sticking. Let's get rid of it. Okay, there we go. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to jump into the Automatic CSS Dashboard. So this is once you install the plugin, you get this right here, and this is where you set your base for everything. And like I said, everything is pretty much set default right out of the box. There's just two things that you have to do, and the first thing is the viewport. And the viewport for Casa de Madera is 1240 pixels wide. So I'm going to set that up right here. And why this is important is because this is kind of the foundation. And because of all of the sizing and the spacing, it's going to be relative to your page width. So it's important that you set this up here and then also in the Oxygen Builder itself. So first thing we do is here and we save changes. That's the other thing about automatic CSS is that it is responsive. So you don't have to go through all of your different viewports or viewpoints or breakpoints and adjust the size of your type, adjust your spacing. It's done. It's just done using something called clamp, and so it has a max and a min size. And as you adjust the screen size, all of that stuff adjusts automatically. And I'll show that to you as we start building the site. Second thing I'm going to have to do is come in here, and this is our color palette. You have primary, secondary, accent, base, and shade. So shade is just going to be just different shades of black. So from 100% black to white. And that one I don't touch. So for my primary color, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here to the live site. I'm going to use Hoverify, the color eyedropper, and I'm going to lift this color. And this is going to become our primary color. So I got that copied. Come over here, click on this, and you just drop your hex code in there, and you're done. Now, what this is doing, when you do it here, right here, you're also getting a series of different shades of that primary color. So you got primary ultra light, light, medium, dark, and ultra dark. And so as you're applying your different classes, and you can also tie into the style sheet by using a var function. So instead of going into your color palette and picking red, you go in there and you enter var and then primary, and then you do primary light, primary ultralight. So it's going to tie. So it's going to access all of this, and the benefit of that is that if you do make a change, if I come in here later on, and I change this primary color to red, all of those shades are going to get updated as well. So I'll be able to use that as I'm building out the site, and you'll see that as we go through it. So for the secondary color, what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose this dark brown right here. I'm going to copy that, copy, yep. Come down here for secondary color, drop that in there. And now for our accent color, I'm going to take this gold color right here. And we're going to drop that in right there. Okay, so we're all set. We're going to hit save. I'm going to leave the base as it is, and the shade I'm not going to change. Okay, so that's it. That's all we got to do for setting up the automatic CSS plugin. Now, the next thing I'm going to do, so what I'm going to do is in this video, I'm just going to work on the header and the footer. And I'm going to try to go through it as quick as possible, try to keep this video to, maybe 35, 40 minutes if possible. Okay, so I'm just going to do the header. So the way you do that in Oxygen is, all right, well, actually, I didn't, I'm in the other side. So let's stop that, come back over here. In Oxygen, we go into templates, and I'm going to add a new template, and I'm going to call it main header and footer. And inherit design from another template. This is our first template, so we don't do anything there. Just come down to other, do catch all. So what that's going to do is it's going to make sure that your header and footer is going to get applied to every one of your pages that you create. And you can exclude those if you need to, like if you have a landing page or some kind of supplemental page in your site and you don't want the header and your footer, you can exclude it. All right, and then we click edit with Oxygen, and that's going to bring us to the editor. Okay, so here we are in the editor, and you're just going to see a blank canvas at this point. All right, so what you need to do is there's a couple of different ways to go about building your header, because Oxygen does have a header element that you can drop in there, and in most cases, or in some cases, you want to use that because that header element comes with code attached to it that you can do. Like, sometimes you'll see a sticky header, sometimes you'll see as you scroll the page, the header will change, from a full header to like a different kind of header with a smaller logo. Maybe it becomes semi-transparent. All of that stuff is built into that, and you just got to select the different options, and that's all built in for you. In this case, though, this header, let's go back to the main page here. This header is actually pretty simple header, so I'm not going to really need to do anything special. So as we scroll, the header just disappears. Okay, so I'm just going to, in this case, I'm just going to drop in a section there. I'm going to give it the tag of header for proper HTML SEO structure. So we give it a tag of header, and I'm also going to name it over here in my palette. I'm going to call it header, and I just do that for organizational purposes, just so that when I look over there, I can see at a glance what that section is. So I'll leave that as it is, and then what you also have to add in your template here is something called inner content, and this is going to provide Oxygen. And this is just I'm previewing a page called work, and I just dropped in a couple of paragraphs of dummy text in there just to give me some space. Otherwise, it would be nothing there. You'd have your header and your footer right up next to each other. Okay, I paused the video there for a second. I deleted a couple of those paragraphs. It was just a little too much. I didn't need that many paragraphs. Anyway, but everything else is the same. So it's just giving me a separation between the header and the footer. Okay, so I got my header in there. I got my inner content, and now I'm going to add another section. I'm going to give this the tag of footer, and I'm going to name my section here footer. Okay. All right, so let's get this header started. So we got 3 columns going across, one for the logo, one for the menu, and then one for this button right over here. So in this section right here, I'm going to add a div. I'm going to duplicate that div twice, come over here, and I'm going to use the oxygen layout here to give it flex layout, and we're going to separate those divs like that. Let's give this div a width of, let's just say 15%. Let's give this one 70%, and let's give this one also 15%. All right. Um, and I can adjust that as we go along. That's probably, I just wanted some room to work with here. So in this section right here, I'm going to add an image, and in that image is going to be the site logo, which I have down here. Add that in there, and we're going to give that a pixel width of, and I'm going to work in rems of 150 pixels wide. Okay. In here, we're going to add the, and let's just give this the URL right away, the link right away. So we're going to create a link, and this is just going to go to the home page. Drop that in there, and now we're all good to go. All right, so now in here, I'm going to add a menu, and we have menu element, pro menu, and the menu we're going to access is the primary menu. Okay, we are going to center that. Let's start using the automatic CSS right away. So we're going to add a class to this div, and it's going to call it center all. So that's going to drop that right in the center there. Then we're going to come into the menu element itself, desktop menu, spacing align. So item margin. So this is going to give us margin on the menu items. All right. So let's work in rems. Come back here. I'm just going to do 10 pixels on the right and 10 pixels on the left. And that's just going to keep it centered. Add a little bit to the left, add a little bit to the right. All right. So next thing I want to do is I want to come into, let's see, desktop drop downs. Is it desktop drop down? I want to get rid of that icon in there. So drop down icon. And we're going to just give that a size of 0 to get rid of it. Because in this menu here, we have a drop down, but there are no icons associated with it. So that's why I did that. And let's go back here. And let's go back to desktop menu, typography, and we're going to give this a font weight of 700. 700 seems a little heavy, right? So let's, but now the font size on that is 14. So let's come back to this before we start messing with the font weight and give this 14. So yeah, 700 is still a little too heavy. So we're going to go down to 600. And is that all caps? It is all caps. So we're going to uppercase that. And now we need to get that color in there. So that's the accent color. So let's get the accent color on there. And now this is, I'm going to show you now for the first time how we're going to tie into the automatic CSS uh, utility class. So instead of just coming in here and choosing a color, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the var function, double dash, and then this is the accent color. Accent. Close it up. Now I got the accent color right there. Okay. Now, the benefit of doing it this way as opposed to choosing a color, because I'm not working in a class right now. I didn't choose a class for this. This is the main menu. It's only going to appear here. Just didn't think it was necessary. But if that accent color ever changes, this is going to update automatically because it's now tied into that automatic CSS framework. All right, so there we go. Let's see, what's the hover color on this is the primary color. So let's see, where we're going to do the hover colors, typography spacing, hover and active. So hover text color is going to be the primary color. We're going to tie into the automatic CSS again, and we're going to go primary, right? And now we got that. Okay, see how that works? So now if the primary color changes, the hover color is going to change as well. What else we got to do here? Nothing here. Let's see, what's next? We want to do this drop down right here. So let's get on that. And let's see. Desktop drop downs. We're going to change this to just a regular fade. and we're going to do no drop down icon, drop down colors, background color. The background color is going to be the accent color. So let's do var accent, close that up, and now we got that accent color. Now hover background color is the primary color, which is what we have here. Okay, and it actually is not the primary color. It looks like it's a really dark version of the accent color. Now I can show you how we're going to do that. So we do var, let's do double, and we're going to do accent dark. Let's see if this is going to work. Now I can't see the hover effect here in the editor. So what we're going to do is we're going to preview it on the front end. And there you go. It's probably not dark enough. So what we're going to do is we're going to come back in here and we're going to do ultra dark. Save that. Refresh. And there you go. Just like that, ultra dark. Now, if that accent changes colors, again, here's the magic of this automatic CSS plugin. Once I discovered this plugin, I was just blown away. I'll never go back. All right, now we got to get the text inside there to be white or a light color. Okay, so over here we see that it's white. So what we're going to do is link color. We're going to tie in again, and we're going to do var double, and we're going to do ultra light, and we're going to do accent ultra accent ultra light. Save that. Come over here, take a look, see what we got. There it is. Now we got to get it on the hover as well. And you can see, so what that is, it's this accent color, but it's at almost 100% of shade of light. So I think it's at 95. I can go in there and I can adjust that. I can make it 98. I can make it 92. Whatever I want to do, whichever I want to go. But to me, that's looking pretty good. So I'm going to leave that as it is. And then the hover text color, we want it to be the same thing. So I'm just going to copy that and paste that in there. And let's check this out again. And there you go. We're done with that. Just got to add a little padding to it. And let's go to drop down child links. Is that where okay, link padding. So we're going to change this to rem, and on the top we're going to do 0.5, and then on the left and right we're going to do 1.5. Let's hit save. Let's see how that looks. There it is. Probably could go a little bit more on the top and bottom with that. So let's do one, and let's do 2 on this side here. There we go. That looks pretty good. That is pretty close. They got a little more room on the left and right, it looks like, and we can do that. Let's go 2.5 here, and let's just go to here. See how that looks. Yep, I'm not going to mess with that anymore. I think we're good. All right. So in our section here, in this div, let's name these divs also. So this is going to be menu. This is going to be logo. And this is going to be button. Okay. All right. So in this, I think we can do it in all of them right here. Let's just center all of that. There we go. Now let's do some section padding. Let's do pad section. Let's do none. Okay. Let's see, pad section none. That's a little tight, but I'm gonna leave that for now. Still got a little bit of room because it is pretty tight on this one right here. So yeah, that's well, okay. Well, that's way too tight. All right, so that's not going to work. So let's do pad section extra small. That's not quite what I want. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do a custom class for this. Let's do this. Get rid of that. Let's do header padding. All right. Now I can show you another way I can tie in, but you know what? I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to do is just going to come in here to container padding, rem. We're going to do 0.5 on the top, and we're going to do 0.5 on the bottom because that's what I want. Yeah, that looks here now. Yep. So yeah, that looks like they got a little bit more padding, but you know that looks fine. I'm going to leave that. And I can come back in and do some fine tuning here later. All right, so let's go in here and we're going to add a button in here, but we need a button with an icon. Let me see if we got icon buttons. Icon button right there. Look at that. We do have an icon button. And they have the home and it says simulador for simulator. Okay. Simulador. Nope, simulador. Like that, right? Simulator. Okay. We're good to go there. Oxy icon button text. Okay. And we're going to do typography. We're going to do, all right, so we're in this class here. I want to get out of the class. I don't like to do any adjustments to classes that are pre-made like that. I'll either add my own class, create a custom class, but if I want to do this, and this is only going to appear in one place, so we're going to leave that as it is. Now for the button itself, come back to the link here, and probably do want to add a custom class to this. So let's just call it header button. Add that to there. Now I'm going to show you another way I'm going to tie into the automatic CSS. So we got var, double dash, accent, and we are good. Now that looks a little dark, but that's probably only because the text in there is white. Now the hover, I don't want that hover effect to be there like that. So let's see. Let's go over here and background color. I don't want to mess with this class. All right, let's just see if I can override it with this. Background color. We're going to do background color. I want background hover. So let's see if I come over here and I do hover background, and the hover color doesn't change over here. It stays. There's no change to the hover color here. Let's see if we can make that happen. So background. Let's do bar double dash accent. And let's see if that's going to work. Yep, that works. Does it? No, it doesn't work. All right, I'm going to have to figure out how to make that happen. I'm not going to spend too much time on that right now. Um, let's see, the text. And this button is pretty tight in there. So I want to get this text to be white. Let's do typography. Let's do var, accent, ultra, light. Okay, so that's not working. I'm not sure what's going on, why that's not working. Did I spell it correctly? Did I not? Yeah, you gotta spell these things correctly. That's why it doesn't work. All right, now let's see if we can get that logo. And we're going to come over here and we're going to do var, double dash, accent, ultra, L-I-G-H-T. There we go. And not working there. Did I spell it right? Ultra light. Yeah, not sure why that's not working there. Accent ultra light. Okay. So I'm not going to edit any of these things out. This is just kind of normal with every website build. Sometimes you got to just kind of figure things out on the fly. Okay, I must have had it spelled incorrectly because now it's working. All right, so let's hit save. And there we go. So there we go. It's probably a little big. Yeah, it is a little big. So let's make that smaller. So let's get into the button here. Header button, size and spacing, padding, rem. We're going to do 0. Apply that all the way around. That's not going to work. Oh, wait. Probably should do 0, not O. Okay. So now I know we're working with something here. Let's do 0.5. Apply it all the way around. And let's do 1.5 here and 1.5 there. So that's closer. I think we're getting close. Let's see how this looks. Yep, I think that's close enough. That works. Okay. We got our drop down. Okay, so we are more or less done. And you know what? That logo looks a little bit big. So let's make that logo a little bit smaller. Let's do 12. Okay. All right. Now let's tackle the responsive. Okay. So what this is going to do over here on the responsive, let's take a look at it here. So this is first going to stack, and that button disappears, and we got the menu stacked below it, and then we get here as you get the hamburger. So we're going to do that. So what we're going to do here is on this, let's work this out this way. So logo on full size, it is 15%. But when we get down here, let's bring it down to 10. Let's bring this one down. Let's go into here. So this was 30. So this one, so let's go to 80% there. Now let's get this button. I can probably make that text smaller. So let's make this text smaller on this size right here. Font size. And let's see if I can tie into the automatic CSS with this. We're going to go text, and is it, do I just do small? I don't remember what I do here. That's not it, but I do have a cheat sheet. So we're going to go to text size, and we're going to do var text size. Let's try small. So this is a cheat sheet right here for all the variables and all of the classes. So if I think something can get done, or if I forget how something gets done, I come over here. There's a nice little search feature here. You can filter it by class, by variable. You can filter it by category. So let's do that. Let's drop that in here. And there we go. So now that's a whole lot smaller. And that, I think, is much closer to the original anyway. Right? Yeah, I guess so. All right, that's what we're going to work with. If I need to adjust it later, I can adjust it later. So now if I come over here, now that button looks good. All right. What I can do here now on this next level, what happens is the button disappears. So what I'll do is I'll come over here, go to layout, none. And now what I'll do is I'll come over here and I'll do horizontal, or if I did vertical, nope, let's do horizontal. Let's do, oh, wait, I'm working here. Okay, so I just made a mistake. Let's get rid of that. Let's come over here. Let's get out of this class. Come over here, horizontal, then come over to layout, and we're going to do wrap. Where's wrap? Flex start, column, flex end. Here we go, wrap. Okay, now we come over to the logo, and we're going to make the logo 100%. Now that drops the menu down there, and we're also going to make the menu div 100%. So that gets that back in the center. Come over here, we can center this. So what I'll do is come over here, give that a horizontal, or don't give it a vertical, and we'll give it center. And now I'm going to add a little padding to the bottom of this. Now the way I'm going to do that, also I'm going to tie into the automatic CSS. Now for spacing, let's come over here. So let's go to, where is it? I will find it in a second. Passes, padding, sticky margin. Let's do margin, and let's just do variables and space. Okay, here we go. This is what I'm looking for. We'll do space small, var space small. So you don't have to memorize all of this stuff. Just come on over here and look for what you need. So now what I'm going to do is just on the margin bottom, I'm going to drop that in there. Now I got my spacing. Okay, and we are good to go. And this will now, when we get down here, this will now become the hamburger at 767. So we're going to say below 768, give us the hamburger. And what we want to do is get rid of this icon or change this icon and get rid of the word menu, because over here, you'll see how that is. This just is the hamburger right here. Okay. Okay. So I got to match this here. All right. So what we're going to do is mobile menu, and we're going to do icon, and we're going to delete this so we don't have the word menu in there anymore. And we are going to search for that hamburger. And I believe that's somewhere down here. There it is. Drop that in there. And now we got to get the color. And the color is accent. So, of course, we're going to tie into Automatic CSS again. Accent. Bam. There we go. And that's going to work all the way. Okay. So there we go. We have our header menu set up. Okay, so now let's just jump right into the footer. Let's try to speed this up a little bit. We're getting into the 30-minute, a little more than 30 minutes. So for the footer, I'm going to show you how we use the grid real quick. So let's go this. Let's put in grid 3. Now I want this to be grid 3, and then on medium, I want it to go to just one column. So we're going to do grid -m1. So now when we get down to this breakpoint, it's going to be one column. So from full width to desktop and so on, it's going to be 3 columns, and then it's going to jump down. And I'll show you how that works. You'll see how that works in a second. So let's get a div in there. Let's duplicate that div. So now you see how we got 3 across. Now if you come down here, you're just going to get the stacked column. And that's because I added that class, the footer, the grid class to this. So let's rename this one, and we're going to call it grid 3. Okay. We're going to need to get a little spacing in between these columns also. And the way we do that is we're going to add some gap. And we're going to do gap extra large on this. Oh, I added it to the wrong div. Let's get rid of that. Let's add it up here. Okay. So gap extra large. So that's how this works. We just start stacking classes, and they're all in there. They're all consistent. We know this. We don't have to think about, am I getting the right size? Is this going to be consistent with the other thing? Did I do 30 pixels or did I do 20 pixels on the other page or on the other element? You don't have to think about any of that stuff because it's all done for you. You just have to worry about the functionality, getting the right elements in the right places, and Automatic CSS takes care of the rest for you. Okay, so in here we're going to have a heading, then we're going to put another div, and I'm going to use that div to create this line. Then I'm going to put an image and then some text. Okay, so a text box right there. All right, so let's get this down to an H3, and let's copy this. This is who we are. Quienes somos, who we are. Let's drop that in there. Now let's just go right for the color. Let's do a class. We're going to create a class. We're going to do footer, or let's do header No, how am I going to name this? Footer first, then header. Okay. Now we got that. Now we're going to add the var double dash accent. Trying to speed up a little bit here. And we're going to also increase the size of this a little bit. Even though it's an H3, we want this to be a little bit bigger. So we're going to go text double dash, and let's say large. Is there large in here? Where's the large? Let's go L. Nope, L is not going to do it. Let's do text double dash XL. There we go. Boom. So we got that a little bit bigger. Where? Oh, you know what it is? I think I dropped that into my div. Or what did I drop into my div? Oh, I dropped. Okay. So the line I wanted to create. Let's get that up there. Let's get that up there. And let's get this up there. Okay. So now, oh, here's another class I can show you about. It's called owl spacing. Owl. We're going to do owl medium. And that creates equal spacing between vertical, equal spacing between every element that's in here. So what it's doing is it's adding a little margin above each element that does not have a sibling. So it's not adding any margin above this top item, um, because, or I'm saying every item that is not a sibling of another item. So since this item doesn't have, is not a sibling of another item, it's not going to get margin on top. This item is a sibling of this, so I don't know if sibling is the right word. I'm not sure if I'm using the right terminology, but there's nothing, this doesn't have anything above it. So it's not getting any margin above it. This one, and this one does. All right. So let's size this one up. We're going to call this, what did I call this here? I called this footer header. Okay. So this is footer header. This is going to be footer, we're going to call it line. Okay. And this is going to be footer image. Okay, wait a second. Did I not put that in there? Let's see. Footer line, add the class. Okay, that's what it is. This is going to be footer image. Come on. It's lagging a little bit for some reason. Not really sure. I'm trying to speed up a little bit here so we can get under the 45-minute mark if possible. Footer image. And this is going to be footer text. Okay, so let's get this here styled up. In here, we're going to come into background. We're going to tie into the color, accent, boom. Now we're going to come over here to size and spacing. Pixel width, I think was 150. Let's just call it 150. And we're going to do the height, 2 pixels, minimum height, 2 pixels. And that should, is it max height? What do I got to get in there to make that work? Let's see. All right, sometimes it doesn't work the way it normally is supposed to. So height, let's go to rems, and do 0.5, 0.5, minimum height, 0.5. All right, hang on a second. Okay, I just paused the video there for a second to try to figure out why this line wasn't behaving. And for some reason, I'm not able to do it in the class. So I had to come over to the ID, and I was able to get the proper height here for this line. All right, so now we got to get our image in here. We're going to put the logo. And here we are, is that the SVG? Yep, let's get that in there. And we're going to do a width of, do 120 again. And over here, let's grab this text. Copy it. Paste that in there. And now what I want to do is I want to tie into the automatic CSS again for the type size. So typography, and I'm going to come over here and we're going to go to all types and we're going to do text size. And we're going to do variables. And what I want to tie into is the text small. So we're going to copy that, and we're going to do font size or 0, blank that out, drop that in there, and now our text is small. Okay, so we're done with that section. Now we're going to come over here, and you know what? I'm just going to duplicate this div. So we're going to come over here, duplicate this div, and this is going to get a heading of information, and no logo, and no text, but it is going to get a menu. Let's delete that, and we're going to put in a menu, pro menu. It's going to be the footer menu. So once that loads, let's do footer menu. Let's do vertical, and let's see, is it text color? Okay, so the color is not changing, so that the text is going to stay the same, but we do need to space this out a little bit. And item margin bottom, we're going to do 10, and we're also now going to tie into this, and we're going to give this typography the var small as well. So where's font? Where's font size, font family, font size. We'll come here to none. Do I still have it? Nope, I don't have it. Come back over here, copy, get that in there, and that brings that down to size. All right, so we're done with that section. Now let's get this next section in here. So let's delete this again, and we're going to duplicate this, and this is going to get how to contact us. Get that in there. We can delete this. Oh, where'd it go? Delete that. Oh, did I delete the whole thing? Don't want to do that. Hopefully Command Z will work. Let's go to history. Let's come over here. Okay, there we go. All right, so let's delete this. All right, so what are we going to put in here? So we got just a text box, and then we're going to do two link boxes. Okay, so let's come over here, and let's add text, and that text is also going to get the size of small, so we'll copy that again. And font size, we got to go to none, drop the font size in there. That goes down to small. Let's copy this and just drop that in there. Now, some of it is bold. Okay, so direction is bold. So what we can do is we can highlight this, then we come over here and we put a span around it, just like as if you were writing HTML. Now we can take that font weight and we could bump that font weight up to 700. Okay, so there we go. So now we got that. Now we're going to add some link text. Link text. And we're also going to give that the font size of small. Don't want to do that. So let's go here, copy that, drop that in there. So now that'll go small. And we're going to get phone number, double click, drop that in there. And let's get that link in here right away. So this is going to be tell, and we're going to drop the phone number in there like that. All right, so that should work. Let's just duplicate this to get the email in there. And now I got an opportunity to show you something else with that owl spacing. So let's copy that. Not all of it. Let's hope I didn't get all of it. Drop that in there. Now we're going to come over here, do mail to, drop the email in there, and target is going to be blank. Okay, so now you see, because of the owl spacing, it's giving us equal spacing between each one of these elements, and these are separate elements. Since this element is a child of this element, it's getting padding, it's getting a margin above it. We don't want that margin above it. So what I can do is I'm going to take this first link, I'm going to wrap it with a div, and now I'm going to take this text link and I'm going to get it in there with it. And now it's no longer being affected by that owl spacing. And since this div is a sibling of this element, is getting the margin above it, but these are not getting the margin above it. And there we are. That's it. So I'm going to go ahead and do the responsive thing off camera. So I'm going to just end this here. So we've done all the heavy lifting. So we got the heading done, we got the footing done, and now we went over automatic CSS to see how that works. And we're really well on our way. And that was pretty quick. I mean, we're at 45 minutes, 46 minutes right now. And let's take a look at this on the front end. And here we are. Everything is in here, and these links are working. I'm going to go in here and I'm going to do some adjusting, because like these links right here should be this blue color like that. So I want to get that done. I'll do the responsiveness for these elements down here. I will do a couple of adjustments. I don't think I need to do any adjustments up here. I think we're all good with that. I might add a little more spacing above the logo here, just to give that some breathing room. But I think we're there. I think we're there. So in the next video, we're going to tackle the main part of this homepage right here. We're going to get this hero section done. We're going to get this slider put in there, um, get this video dropped in here, and these effects right here. We're going to do all of that, and these right here, and that'll be in the next video. So thank you, and I will see you in the next video.